Okay, right, well, good afternoon everybody. Once again, welcome back to Plot. It's a cold, wet, windy northeast today, but hopefully I'm going to get myself outside and get stuck in. If you've been watching my Facebook page, you know I've just getting back from a few days holiday up in Scotland. Absolutely marvellous. I had the cold from hell before that. A week before that I went down the really bad cold, so I was grounded for a full week in the house, trying to get myself pulled around. As I say, we're having a bad chest. I've got to take myself out of the cold weather now and get upstairs where it's warm. So I put a damp on finishing off the potting off. So after the holiday, I feel a bit better now. It's getting outside and get cracking with the jobs we've got. We've got loads lined up over the next couple of weeks. Loads of jobs to do, from sowing sweet peas. We've got the garlics. We've got the chap onions to sort out. We'll pop up there this afternoon and have a quick look. Roger's getting all the land ready. I had to go to the Allotment Society weekend and get a big bag of lime, because that's one of the main priorities. Get that where the tatties have been there, the main crop tatties. We've dug them out, and I need that ground lime in, ready for the chap onions going in. But we'll have a look at that when we go up. One of the main jobs was this afternoon, was just finishing off the last of the Bellis daisies that I potted up. And as I say, when I pull them out the trays, I always put them in 2s and 3s, little groups of and I never put them off at a 2-leaf stage. I always let my plants grow up a bit. So they're nice strong little plants ready for potting off. The 3-2-1 mix, which is here. Put a couple of plants in there. As I say, I do this with most of my bedding plants, from lobelia to marigolds, sweet william, all that. Quite an easy enough job. Little 9cm pot. Normally I put them into multi-cell trays, but these have been left for a couple of weeks now since I potted the first early ones up, and they're quite big, but they're just nice for potting off for me. So I'm putting them straight into 9cm pots. Now these will just sit in a tray now, and they'll go up on the plot. I'll just show you this tray. I did first thing this morning. There we are, full tray. Took us about 10 minutes to do that. As I say, this is my 3-2-1 mix. It's 3 pots, homemade compost out the bins, sieved, just passed through a heavy sieve, get all of the big rubbish out, which can put straight back into the bins again. 2 pots, multi-purpose compost. You don't have to get the best compost if it's money wise. You can look around and get some fairly decent composts. I used to like the clover, when you can get a hold of it. 2 pots of clover, 1 pot good sharp sand, and a couple of handfuls of bone meal or perlite. I usually put both in. Don't forget the bone meal, because the bone meal, it's a long lasting fertiliser, especially for these plants here. They're going to sit all of the winter in them 9cm pots. There's plenty of feed in there, so all I'm going to need is watering. I'll be sitting on big trays in the bench, in the polytunnel, up on the top there, near the light, and then just left to grow away. Nice and slow, no need to hurry them on, and by spring next year, February, March, they'll be full of roots. You've got first class plant to go out in the garden, and you've got lots of cover. That's a colour for the summer coming on. They are perennials, so you can leave them in the garden. I like to change mine every year. New plants from seed. Pack the Bellis seed, you get 2,000 seed in it. So you can afford to put them in 3 rows in your tray. You know how I like to grow mine. Plenty of seeds in a tray, and then you can just break them up into nice little clumps. There's another tray full in there. There's another tray full of pansy in there. I've always potted pansy up. I've already done polyanthus, sweet william, and I've got another tray full of foxgloves that come down. I'll probably take these up this afternoon and bring the foxgloves down in the empty barrel, and I'll do exactly the same with the foxgloves, because they're quite a big size. We'll see when we get up the plot. They're quite a good size, so I might just do exactly the same with them, put them into the 9cm pots rather than put them into the multi-cell trays. Most of the sweet william and the pansies are in them trays, which I did before I turned bad a week ago with a cold, so I managed to get them done. But lots to do, as I say. There's any amount of jobs to get cracking on with. We've got sweet peas to do. I'll do them next week. We'll be in October, so it's a perfect time for me. A lot of people asking about sweet peas, how to start them off and which way I grow them. One guy asked if I use tubes. You can use tubes if you want. There's special pots we can send away for. Nice long deep ones, root runners, or root trainers, whatever they're called. You can use them. What I like to use is paint pots, plastic paint pots. I put 2-3 seed in each pot, but I'll show you all that in the next video when we start them off. We've got the Jap onions to get started on. We just cleared the main crop potatoes out of the bed. I've got a bag of lime there, so I want to give it a good liming this week, and then by the weekend I'll rotivate it nice and soft, and we'll put our Jap onions in there. There'll be a few small ones, little bits and pieces amongst them that I don't put in, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them in multi-cell trays, grow them on, and there'll be a nice strong plant ready for the end October, beginning November to plant into the bottom polytunnel when we get the last tomatoes and sweet corn out the way. So this is it. Loads of jobs to do. Spring cabbage to do. I've got the rhubarb bed to clear, but I want to keep some of them leaves of the rhubarb to wrap around my spring cabbage. Plant them. It's a good against club root and the cabbage root fly. Protection for your plants, you know, and it's cheap. It's cheap, it's free, and that's a lot of the little bits and pieces like that we'll get over in the next couple of weeks. Main job is to have a look at grapes. They've been neglected this year, but there's some fantastic fruit on there, so we're going to pop up there now and just going to show you what sort of crop you can expect from the black grapes. I have got the new variety, which I'll be as I say, once a couple of lads commented on how to train a grapevine, how to cut them back. The secret of that is to leave them until next month, end of October. Once all the leaves drop off and the sap sinks back down into the roots, that's the best time to start cutting. I have let it grow wild this year because there's loads of side shoots. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all them side shoots off and I'm going to use them for new canes for next year. We'll root them off, cut them into nice cuttings, and we'll put them off and we'll get some fantastic new plants for next year for giving away family and friends. But this is a new grapevine that's in the bottom polytunnel. This is a red grape, absolutely marvellous. It's a seedless variety, so I want to take a load of cuttings off that, but we'll cut it right back, as I say, and that'll be on the second or third video over the next couple of weeks. This weekend we'll maybe concentrate on the Jap onions. I think we'll get them started, and of course the garlic. Lots of ways to plant your garlic, and a lot of people want to know how, when to do it. So October's a perfect time. So we'll do all that in the next video. But for the time being, I'm going to pop these in a barrow, get a slow walk up the plot. We'll have a look at the ceilings up there, and then we'll go and we'll check that grapevine out, and we'll get this first video for a few weeks. And then hopefully we'll let you catch up with the rest of the stuff we're doing over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so I'll see you all again soon. Okay, right. Well, after a quick walk up, we're back of the plot. As you see, we're in the bottom polytunnel. We have had most of the bed and keep. These are the Sweet William that were potted up before we went on holiday 3 weeks ago, and first class little plants. As I say, they'll sit here for right over the winter, and they'll fill them pots with roots. You can plant them out now if you want, but that's my idea of doing a later sown, which I've just done now down home. They're just coming up there. They'll be potted off not until the end of next month, the end of this month, October. They'll get potted off and they'll sit exactly the same place as this. These can go in the ground in October, and they'll overwinter just nicely. But my idea, if you lose any of them, then you've got a second batch coming on. The polyanthus, they're in the multi-cell trays that were planted out. Now they'll sit there for another couple of weeks. There's nothing showing on the bottom. There's little roots coming through the bottom there. So they can sit there for another couple of weeks yet, and then they'll go into 9cm pots, exactly the same as them. We've got pansies. We've actually got pansies starting to flower there now, so they can go into the hanging baskets. They're in multi-cell trays, same as all the other ones. There's lots of weeds coming through, but once you know your weeds from your seeds, quite easy to pull them out. Nice little pansies there, and they're growing away great. Couple of packets of pansies that I've sowed down home, another crop later once again. They can go in hanging baskets in a couple of weeks' time, and they'll just overwinter in them if you've got a sheltered spot where you can put them. Quite easy. But 2 trays of delphinium there. The delphinium will sit in here all over the winter. There's a few weeds coming up amongst them, so I'm going to get stuck into them, get them sorted out. We've just been busy stripping tomatoes down from here, and there's canes lying around all over the shop, so I've got to go easy. Here's a Bellis daisy that we did 3 weeks ago. They're in multi-cell trays, so what will happen now with them, as I say, that the Bellis daisy I done down home were a little bit bigger, but these are just in multi-cell trays, and they'll be planted out into the 9cm pots. No roots there yet, so I'm quite happy sitting there for another couple of weeks, and then they'll go into 9cm pots and they can sit all of the winter, which is fine. And I think the last one I've got to do, some nice big weeds coming up amongst them. Absolutely first class plants. Foxgloves, a lovely little tray of them. Now there, if you remember, we sowed them in rows of 3 rows to a pot. You cannot really see here because they're getting that big, but this is where I like to pop mine off, my bedding. I never try and put them off at a 2-leaf stage when they're really tiny, small. Let them grow on. These are in a 3-2-1 mix. You will get a little bit of weed growing through, but as I say, once you know your weed from the seed, once you start digging them out, which we'll probably do in the next video, digging them out in rows, and 1s and 2s, and the first class plants are going to a 9cm pot, and they'll just grow away all of the winter. Or if you want, get them hardened off, and you can plant them out in end of October at the latest, because once November kicks in, you get them cold nights, cold mornings. The last thing you want to be doing is planting bedding out, so that's why I like to put mine in 2 sets. A set now and a set later on, and there'll be first class plants. The grapevine down there is a beast. That's a red one, and that's the one I'm going to be doing cuttings from. I've just let the side shoots to grow because it's only a 2nd year tree, 2nd year bush I should say, vine. I've got 1 rod, but there's a lot of side shoots come from it. But all them side shoots I'm going to cut off. I'm going to use them for cuttings. So we'll do them in about 3 to 4 weeks time. Loads of comments online about the grapes. I'll show you the black ones in there when we're going to into the top polytunnel there. Some lovely grapes on there. Red ones and a seedless. So I'm going to cut that right back to the main trunk. Right back to the main rod. And I'm going to leave just 2 side shoots, 2 leaders to go either side of the polytunnel here. And it'll run right away up there, is the dough in there. 40 foot long. They'll cover that in about 2 years, no problem. And then you can just have 1 rod either side, and from that 1 rod you can have your side shoots coming off, your bunches well spaced out, and I'll show you next door. Getting well spaced out, and you get some fantastic grapes. But that's what bedding sorted out. So we'll pop in there and we'll have a look at this grapevine before we knock off. Okay, right, back next door. As you can see, the black grapevine comes from the bottom of the tunnel here, and I've let the main runner run along there, and it's just at the end where the peach tree is, so that's nearly 40 foot it's grew in this year alone. I haven't had any bunches on that end. I've been cutting them up because I've let the rod grow, because what I want to do next year is to take all them side shoots from the rod, which produces the grapes. You get a bunch every foot to 18 inches, and that's where I like to grow mine. Now, what I didn't do this year is where I like to space them out. I never had a chance this year. I just let it grow, as I say, letting the rod grow. I thought I'd see how many grapes I can get off on this 10-foot section here, and it's absolutely full. So I'm going to start taking a few off. And what I like to do is, where the side shoot comes away from the rod, and then your bunch of grapes, and then you cut off 1 leaf past that bunch of grapes, I haven't been doing it this year. I've been just letting them grow, but there's lots of whipsy growth on there. It should have been cut off, and what you end up with is a hand. So I'll take that one off there because it's a lovely bunch here. And what I should have done was cut it here. There's the first leaf past that bunch. That should have been cut there. And then where it comes away from the rod, you've got another leaf there. And you cut it there. Well, that's a piece of the side shoot that should have been cut away. It's only a small piece, but they all add up. If you've got a piece of that on every bunch, you're taking up all the vigour out of the vine. So cut them back. So from your bunch of grapes, one leaf cut off. That's what that should have been done there. And then trim the leaves off, and you've got a perfect hand for your grapes. And who wouldn't like them on your breakfast plate? These are the black grape, absolutely marvellous. There's the one I've just taken down earlier, absolutely fantastic. So we'll tuck into some of these on my breakfast tomorrow, I think. What I might do, I'm tempted, because I've got about 40 bunches along here that I can see, I'm tempted to make a wine. So I might look around and see if I can get myself a demijohn and a few bits and pieces. I don't want to go all out and buying stuff there if there's something I don't want to turn my hand to. It's just if I get a bit of time through the winter, it just seems a waste to see all these grapes going to waste. So not many of them will like. There's sweetness in them, absolutely marvellous. The only trouble with these, only one setback, they've got seeds in them. I don't mind that. Their sweetness is absolutely marvellous, and I'm sure they'd make a first-class wine, which is a difference between the red grape next door. They've got no seeds in, they're seedless. But I'm hoping next year to get that one rod, exactly the same way I've done this one. Get the one rod, and you get a few. It's only 2-year-old, that one, so I'm going to have to be careful. Next year, I'll only allow about maybe 12 to 16 bunches on the rod. No more than that. It's only, this is 4-year-old now, and this is cropping well. By next year, that main rod will be absolutely full. Just a one rod, right along, one plant, and all them side shoots. If you cut them around about a foot to 18 inches per bunch, you'll end up with some fantastic grapes like that. Lovely little bunches, and I'm well chuffed with them this year. A little bit of work, a little bit of effort, a little bit of feeding, and you can get a fantastic crop. Grapes are well worth growing if you've got a little spot in the garden. If you don't want to put them in a tunnel, you don't want to put them in your greenhouse, you can plant it outside and bring your rod in. That way you can manage it a bit better. Water-wise, it'll get watered outside over the winter, but I like to start mine inside. That way I'll get an earlier start on the vine. It starts producing side shoots earlier, and you get an earlier crop, because up here in the north, it's, you know, we're freezing cold now. It's we're in the end of September, and it's cold mornings, cold evenings, so, you know, you need that fruit ripened early. So you need it started early, and that's what's done in the tunnel. You're getting a couple of weeks start rather than outside. I've got that vine outside down home, and I've got that to cut back. I'll probably do it in a couple of weeks' time. It's had a few bunches of grapes on. I haven't even touched it this year. I let the blackbirds just eat them all, and they were enjoying them. Blackbirds and the robin, everyone else has come down, helping myself. But inside the tunnel, these are ours. Here's our breakfast, and we've worked hard for them this year. Mind the fruit's been absolutely fantastic up here. The apple tree outside the tunnel here. Me and Roger were up Saturday morning clearing it off. Some fantastic apples on it, really nice. We had some good raspberries, few strawberries. The peach tree was absolutely marvellous, and then of course the grapevine is producing just exactly what we want. So what we'll do in about 3 weeks' time, we'll start in the vines. I'll do a full video on it. A full video on the vine. There's a lot of people asking about it, how to cut them back and what's the best method of feeding and spraying. They're quite easy to look after. They don't need much spraying, they don't need, there's not a lot of pests that'll attack them, but just keep on top of them if you're growing them under cover. I just use a rhubarb spray on mine and it keeps them lovely and clean. But I'll take you through all that, won't get that video. There's still plenty of leaves on them, there's a few starting to die back, but I like to wait until it's completely dormant, all the leaves are down, the rods are bare and the sap has sunk back down into the roots, and that's the perfect time to start cropping. Start cutting back your vine, trimming it down, and we'll have plenty of material to take cuttings with, which I'll take you through in the video, and you'll have plenty of plants for next year to give away to family and friends. So if you want to start on a vine, watch our video in about 3 weeks time. At the end of October we'll probably get cracking. Couple more cold nights and all these leaves will just drop off. But we'll have our fruit off long before then. We'll probably take that off this week. There's some absolutely marvellous bunches on here, so we'll crack on with these and get them down home and everybody can enjoy them. Okay, so well, it's the first video for a few weeks, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Keep you up to date. We'll be making a few mixes up in a couple of weeks time, so we'll take you right through that, because I need a few mixes for potting up these bedding plants when they're going to the 9cm pots. So I'll make another 3-to-1 mix up. I'll do it up here in the mixer so you know exactly what's happening and exactly how we'll mix it up, and then we'll crack on with the potting off, get them done. Got the Jap onions next week. We'll do the Jap onions, and the week after we'll do the spring cabbage, the Jap onions and the garlic, sorry. The week after we'll have a look at them spring cabbage, we'll get them planted out, and by then we're in October, and we'll do a autumn zone of sweet pea down home. So plenty to do in the next couple of weeks, but we'll keep you updated. Just follow along and we'll take you through the season. If you don't want to wait for the video, I know it's been a few weeks, but you can catch one on our Facebook page. We're on most nights. I'm on the computer, so you can send our friends request. It's Jeff Foreman on the plot. You can send our pictures, you can send our questions, and we'll try our best to answer them as we grow, and hopefully you'll enjoy growing the next season with us. Okay, so I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Once again, welcome back to the plot.